everyone. It's Make It Monday, and we're here with our Live at 5 presentation. And I know this is going to be just such a great presentation for everyone. Just going to turn this volume down here. I'm very excited to present for you today the Live at 5 because it's something that I've been doing for over 20, 25 years, or maybe even longer. I'm not even sure. But let's just say 20, 25 years. First, I want to say that no one can pronounce, most people say charcuterie. It's not charcuterie, it's charcuterie. So if you say it correctly, there's only 3 syllables, not 4. And on Google, they accidentally, I don't know how, they totally mispronounced charcuterie. But now we know the correct pronunciation, and I think it took me a while to really get that in my head because the way we read it and the way it's pronounced is entirely different. So I'm really excited to be here with you today. You can see I have lots of things around me, and I just want to share with you the best way to create your very own signature charcuterie board. So first thing, you want to make sure that you have a nice board. You can use wood, you can use a slate, you could use a piece of granite, the one that maybe is left over from your counter. You could use a glass tray. There's so many different ways that you can actually serve it. The little blackboards are beautiful too for charcuterie. So I'm going to start out with our cocktail today, and I have this white wine. I was going to do a red wine because I love red wine, but I love this white wine. So when I looked, I didn't find any of the red that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to share that with you at another time. Do know that the old-fashioned way was that you drink white wine with fish, you drink red wine with meat, you drink red in the winter, you drink white in the summer. And I don't think that many people in the past really drank a lot of rosé, but rosé is really an up-and-coming wine. And if you haven't tried any of the new rosés, I highly suggest that. But I'm going to share with you today this wine, which is absolutely fabulous. The first date that I went on with my husband many, many, many years ago, he took me to a beautiful, quaint French restaurant, and we drank this beautiful French wine. And certainly at that time, I had no idea that I would actually be involved with a French company importing foods and products from France and really being able to share my love and passion of cooking. But lo and behold, I still serve this at parties. I serve it when we have people come in from out of town. All of our Bon Table members, our top leaders in the company, when they come, I definitely want to serve that up for them and just share my story with them and just how fabulous this wine is. So if you looked at this bottle, you would probably say, "Poulet-Foussé." That's the way it sounds, but that's not really how you pronounce that one either. I don't speak French, but I looked everything up just to make sure. So the correct pronunciation of that is Poulet-Foussé. Poulet-Foussé. So it's a beautiful wine. You could go online and actually practice. But what I love about this wine, it's green and gold in color. It's really beautiful in the glass. It has fruit aromas of melons and pears. It is a very, very refreshing wine. It's not too light and it's not too heavy. It's not too sweet and it's not too dry. And it has an underlying note of almonds. And people actually say that this is a wine of seduction. I'm not sure if my husband knew that at the time, but I like to start out with a great cheers to all of you. So cheers and welcome to Live at 5. Make it Monday. We're going to have a great time today. It's beautiful. It's light, it's refreshing, and I could see that you could drink this. Of course, I already know that. You could drink it with so many different things. So cheers to all of you. How many of you are getting ready for Mother's Day? I know we're not going to have a lot of guests, but if you do happen to have your mother close by, this board would be a really great thing for you to do. And the first thing I want to do is I like to find odd things that I really like to reuse. And I bought some dishes, some plates or bowls that came in this box. I can't even remember now, but I love the box. It's Farmer's Market. So if I was serving my bread, because this kind of matches the colors of charcuterie, I'm going to take my napkins. You always want to keep, just when you're out and about, buy some just napkins that you wouldn't use every day and just keep them and set aside. You don't need lots of them, you just need some. And I like to take the napkin that I'm using and line my box with it. So instead of serving my bread in a basket, what I'm going to do is I would, of course, fluff this up a little bit more, which I think I didn't actually do that, but I do have the paper towels to do that with. So if you know that you have enough, maybe you're not going to fill the whole box of bread. Now, if you had people like my husband is Albanian. He was born and raised in Montenegro, and you would never have enough bread. This would never be enough. So lo and behold, I'm just going to put this bread in the box, and I would line this up. And just to make it kind of look festive and nice, it's all those little extra touches that you made that make everything so special. And I think that being in the kitchen, when I do Live at 5 on Monday, I'm so excited all day long because I know I'm going to get to share my love and passion of cooking and just serving people and bringing people together around food. I mean, this is not a new thing that people do. It's not new to get together around food. But what is new is the excitement that everyone has about doing it. So I want to help all of you create your own signature board, charcuterie, and just be really proud of it. And when you think about it, the chore that you have in the kitchen will never, ever, ever in a million years outweigh the glory that people have when they eat your food, or the glory that you have when you know someone came along and they had a great experience because of what you did. So just keep that in mind. You can see, so this is looking pretty good, just the bread alone. Okay, we just put the bread in there. If you want to do a basket, you could do the baguettes coming out, but one thing I don't like about doing that, if there's large baguettes around, people don't want to cut their own bread. They want to be able to grab things. So you need to think when you create something, oh, someone can cut that. Oh, they can do this. No, they won't do it, and that food will be left. So you want to make sure that the food is not left in that sense. So charcuterie is actually a French word, and it means quality butcher. It has to do with the butcher, and the butcher, of course, has to do with meats. So I'm going to share with you what I believe is the best way to create a signature board. So number one, I believe that every board needs 4 cheeses. You could do 3 even. You need 3 meats, 4 cheeses, 2 dried things, and 2 sweet things. And you need some pickled things. You could do anywhere from 2 to 4. Something in that grouping is going to be your favorite thing or the special thing that you're known for. So what are you really known for? So when people come to my house, they always ask me or wonder if I made the peppers. So these peppers, I generally boil them and then kind of pickle them overnight and then stick them in the fridge. They last for about 10 days, 10 to 14 days. But last night I roasted them on my bum mat, and they came out absolutely perfectly. You can do quite a bit. This right here is probably about 1.5 or 2 peppers, but I did like 4 altogether. Then you mix them with olive oil and salt and a nice balsamic. I use our traditional balsamic, but this is perfect for a charcuterie board. And the reason that it's so good for the board is because it's my signature. It's what people look for me to do. It's what they like to have from my hands, from my kitchen. So this might be something that you buy. This might be something that you make. I believe on every board, you need to have 1 or 2 things that you actually make or that you just are crazy about. It's something that you would never go without. So that's one of the first things on the board. The other pickled things I'm going to share with you. So these are for the pickled items. I always have Kalamata olives, because they're my favorite. So Tony went to the store, and Tony is my husband. Tony went and he got the olives. And when I tasted them this morning, I realized that they're actually stuffed with garlic. So I have these Kalamata olives stuffed with garlic. And in addition to that, I took some of them and made a tapenade. And in our chopper, it's very, very simple. I put in olive oil, some capers, some lemon, and a little bit of parsley, and it's all set. So this would be a spread that people would actually put on the little toast bites. So what about the cheeses? So for the cheeses, oh yes, I also have the typical green olives because some people don't want to try something new or they don't want stuffed. So these are just regular green olives. So for the cheeses, I have 4 cheeses on the board. So I believe the cheeses, you need something creamy, you need something hard, and you need something in between. Something salty, something creamy, something hard, mild, a medium, and then something salty. So, and a cheese that you can serve with something sweet because you need to have something sweet on the board. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Brie cheese. So I have the Brie cheese on my big board. Instead of putting everything on one board, I put little bowls or little things on my board. Why do I do that? Because I don't want all the food running into one another because it ruins the integrity of the other food. If you put pickles on something and you have it next to your salamis or your meats, your parma, whatever it is going to get in the meat, and then that meat is going to taste like pickled, something pickled. So that's not a very good taste. I'll set this right here so you can see it. So I have Brie. Also, another signature thing for me here is I love dried apricots. I really love dried apricots. And I also love dried cherries. These are dried cherries, really fantastic cherries. So the dried cherries and the dried apricots are my dried things. The Brie, I have our beautiful lavender honey here. So what I would do is if I were serving this, I would take the honey. I think it looks so beautiful on the Brie. And you cannot believe really how good it tastes. You just get it on. You don't want to smother it in honey. You want it for the look and you want it for the taste. It definitely keeps people coming back for more. That's also another signature thing that they're like, wow, I've had a lot of honey, but I've never had that kind of honey. This is a very mild lavender honey. It's got the notes of lavender where the bees pollinated. It's absolutely amazing. And then a couple weeks ago for one of the Live at Fives, I made some cherry jam. So this cherry jam, it's not real thick, but it's nice that you could also take the cherry jam, which is very tart, goes really well with the honey because then you have something sweet and you have something tart that is also sweet. You already have the honey on these 2 pieces. The reason that I cut these 2 pieces right here, if you create your Brie and you just put your Brie there and you put the knife there for people to cut it, 8 out of 10 of the people are not going to cut it because they're going to feel awkward doing that. They don't want to ruin your masterpiece. So what I've done is I've just done like the pinwheel cut all the way around the Brie. And you can see I have 2 pieces. One is underneath the server, the cheese knife. So I would take this up. You always want to use small plates because this is not their dinner. If it's their dinner, you could use something a little bit larger and you might want to serve more. So she can serve that, and then someone else can come along and pick this up. As the host of the party, you want to pay attention to your charcuterie board. And the reason you want to do that is you don't want to stack your meat so high and just say, oh, well, who cares? Everything that you have there, you need to have a little bit more. Don't put it all. Like I didn't put all the peppers out because those will be the first things to go. So I will go back into the fridge and I refill that. And what's so cool, if I have this dish empty, I don't have to move my whole board. I just pick up this little plate and I fill them up and I very gracefully come back and I put them back on the board. The same with these little dishes, honey, jam. If these run out, all I need to do is pick them up. And if you have someone helping you in the kitchen, whether it's your spouse and not mine, or anyone. Could be your daughter. My daughters are so amazing in the kitchen. I can't see if you're on. Natalie, Deanna, and Amanda. I'm just really glad. I'm so proud of you and how well you know these things, and it's just a pleasure to see you work. So definitely, this is a beautiful little board. This could be a small board all on its own, but we have a spot here in the corner for it. Then I'm going to share with you the meats. So the meats are very important. I'm going to move this out of my way. Actually, I'm going to turn it over because I might also need this. So I'm going to show you the meats. Number one, if you're going to buy prosciutto, don't buy the cheapest one because it's not going to taste very good. And do know this is normal. When it looks like this, it really annoys me because sometimes the bakery, go to an Italian bakery and get the prosciutto. If you buy it in the grocery store, I don't know, I've never really bought good prosciutto in the regular grocer. What you're going to do is you're going to take your prosciutto and you're going to peel it off. If it has an enormous amount of fat, I usually take the scissors and I cut that off. But like this, I could just leave it. Then I tent it and I set it down, just like that. As your board sits, that's going to shrink down a little bit because it loses the air in between it. You're going to just take that prosciutto. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Sometimes I just take the whole piece like this and I roll it. And if you want little minis, you can actually cut it in the middle and put these little pieces there. But I never feel like that's enough for someone, and I don't like the way this looks flat, so I like to tent it. I think it looks a lot better tented. What do you think? Like a tent. So this one, same thing. You just let it fall on the plate like that. So good. Prosciutto is amazing. It's cured. This is 18 months or more cured. It is expensive. Don't buy more than what you need, but buy a little bit extra because once you taste it, you're going to want to taste it again because it is so good. So this is just like really, the Italians are just so fabulous at curing these meats, and they are the best for that charcuterie board. So I'm going to just set the prosciutto aside. The next meat that I have is really mild. This is a CocaCola. So this one, it's really easy to eat. It looks like it has a lot of fat, but when you eat it, it doesn't taste like a lot of fat. That's very surprising. This one I always roll because I don't like the way it looks just flat. So I just roll this very simply. Do know that if you're making a board, if you have 6 or more people, you need to take a full hour to make your board because you want your board to be an experience. You want your board to be something special that's indicative of your taste, your style, and of you. It's a signature style of you. So this is how we do the CocaCola. We just roll it up like that. And then my favorite one to put on the board is the sapressata. This is a salami. The reason I love this, it's not too thick, it's not too thin. The prosciutto's pretty thin, and you need it thin because if it's cut too thick, it can be pretty tough. But these are really cool. So you take your piece like this, you fold them in towards you into like a diamond shape. See how it has that little tail on the bottom there? See that? And then you just set it down. Just like that. Isn't that cool? I love that because it just looks so good on the board, and you just keep making them like that. I just keep going around and around because it literally just stands up on the board. If you have some that are difficult, you can actually fix them later. I'm sorry because I started with the Brie and then I didn't get to the rest of my cheeses. So the hard cheese, what I have here is this is a Garna Padano, and this is very similar to a Parmesan or an Asiago, similar to that. You could see that it has really like a lot of white in it. It's a little bit, it's a hard cow's cheese, and it is salty and really nice. So you'll really like that. The next one I have is a French cheese. So I don't like to have all French cheese. I don't like to have all Italian cheese. I like to have a combination. And in a perfect world, I have the little cards that you can put out, or little glass pieces that you can write on that can tell people what cheeses they are. People love to know about cheese. You could do one sheet that tells all the cheeses, because some people don't eat cheese, or they don't eat maybe a sheep's cheese, but they will eat a cow's cheese, or vice versa. So this one is a Cote, and that it's spelled C-O-M-T-E. It's a French cheese. And this is a hard cow's milk cheese. It's great for salads, hot dishes. It's good grated. It's good sliced, and it's also good melted. So melted with potatoes, it's really good. You can see it's pretty soft when you can rip it apart really easily, and it's really tasty. So people really love this cheese. So you have I have a really white, rather yellow cheese, and then I also have our something you never come to my house and not have, and that's this Bulgarian feta. So actually the word feta cheese is actually protected. So is the Coute cheese, and so are like the prosciutto, same thing. They have to come from a certain area, just like Champagne. Like Champagne only comes from Champagne, France. It's not coming from other areas of the world. Those are sparkling wines, not champagnes. The same thing with feta. This is a Bulgarian feta, but Bulgaria is not one of the regions that actually can say that it's feta, even though they say like feta when you purchase it. I've always called it feta, Bulgarian feta, and it says that on the container, but it says feta-like cheese, because legally they cannot say that that is feta cheese, because feta cheese is owned by the Greeks. And if you go into Macedonia and you go around into other areas, even outside of Greece, they also have permission to sell and make feta cheese for real. So good information there. So we have all four of the cheese that we've gone through. We've gone through the peppers, the tapenade. Then I always like to have a couple of types of nuts. And today I chose almonds because, of course, that's what I had in my refrigerator. So a lot of things I already had. And whatever you have, think of the way that you could actually create the charcuterie from that. So these are Marcona almonds. These are fabulous. They're very salty, really good, and they're just a nice complement with all of this food. Then we just have raw almonds here. These are really good too. Everyone loves almonds. People can never seem to get enough of them. Then I have 3 mustards. Notice that everything is in a small dish. All the dishes don't match, and I'll tell you, all the spoons don't match, but it's okay, because it's about the experience and bringing all these pieces together. Here I have, for people that just want a regular mustard, this is a Dijon. This is a French Dijon. This is a sweet and hot mustard. It's one of my favorites. I love this mustard. And then we have the organic seeded mustard, which is really great too. So you can see, a lot of people, if they're going to eat the meat, they want to have a mustard with it. I wouldn't put mayonnaise out because it's just like too much, unless you have like a garlic aioli or some type of special aioli that people would really love. But I always like to put something out that would be there for people. The other thing that I would sometimes put on a board is peeled pomegranate, which I talked to you about the pomegranate last week. That's something that would be really great, but because I have the honey, the jam, the dried apricots, and dried cherries, I did not do that at this time. But I want to show you how the whole board came together. Excuse me, I'm just going to move this. So this is, let's see how you can see that. Okay, good. We're awesome. So this is the board, and you can see everything. The day of people using their fingers for anything is over, and it is over forever. So if you haven't invested in little spoons or little forks for serving something like this, you still want to give people the opportunity to mingle around. This is great, like in a kitchen where you have people walking around, maybe having a glass of wine, and they're just They're just getting to know one another, or it's before dinner and everybody's hungry, but they don't want a lot to eat. This is like a perfect board, and you can make a small version of this board as well. You can see also the prosciutto. I'm sorry, because I made the board a couple hours ago. It looks like it's getting a little dried out. I may have to make some stromboli this week for my husband. He will really love that. But really just looking at, this is my board. Everything that you see on this board is probably a lot of what you would find if you came to my house. And if you've ever been to my house or any events or parties that I've had, you have definitely seen a spread like this. So I just want to say, I don't know if anyone has any questions or wants to ask anything about their particular experience with charcuterie boards. Anyone? Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone for getting on today and for continuing to get on and be a part of this great experience of Live at 5. I feel like I've been home since March 11th, and yes, I've been out of the house maybe 4 to 6 times. And that's not enough. But on Mondays, I always feel very excited because I know that I'm going to have the opportunity to share some really great things with all of you. So there are a couple things I want to make a note of. Number one, when you do your boards, please tag myself or the Bon Cook on Facebook. I would really, really love that, because your creations are going to be much better, much more creative than mine. I've been doing this for a long time, so my boards kind of look the same all the time. So it'd be really nice to see what you come up with, what you can create, and just do it, and you'll see how people are like, wow, what's this cheese? Oh, what's this? People really, really love the experience of trying new things, and why not be the place to birth that for them right there in your home? People always remember the experience of eating together. They always remember who the host was, what kind of fun they had, what kind of food you served. Why not just step it up a notch and do your own thing? The number one reason people won't do something like this is because they don't know what to buy, they don't know where to get it. But look for Italian markets. Every single thing you see here, you'll find in an Italian market. Everything. So if you don't find the Bulgarian feta, you can find a French feta. The Bulgarian is a twist between the Greek feta and the French feta. So the French is really creamy. The Bulgarian has a little bit lemony flavor, really, really creamy, not too salty like some other feta cheeses. But I just really encourage all of you to try that.